Hey, room 230, it is time for our reading lesson. I hope that you had a good weekend. I hope that you got to do something that was fun. I hope that you're able to spend some part of the day where you're not looking at a screen all the time. I don't know about you, but my eyes get all tired when I look at the screen all day long. And over the weekend, I don't have to look at my computer screen anymore because I'm not teaching, and so then I can take a break. So I hope you took a break too. So we have been reading Iris and Walter lately, thinking about how characters can respond to challenges in their story. So today we're thinking about how I can describe how characters in a story respond to challenges. In our last lesson, I read this book, Iris and Walter in the School Play. Do you remember what the problem was in this book? There was two problems. Yeah. The first problem was Walter had stage fright. He was afraid he wasn't going to remember his lines, and he was nervous about being up on the stage. That was problem number one. Problem number two was there was a terrible day, and that was because Iris got sick, and she didn't get to go and be in the play, and she was really disappointed. So how did things get better? Well, Iris helped Walter learn his lines, and he did a good job at the play. And then their teacher, Miss Cherry, made a special treat and let Iris help pass that out. And that cheered up Iris for having missed the play. So we're going to read a new book today. We are going to read Iris and Walter and Cousin Howie. Here we have Iris, here we have Walter, and here we have Cousin Howie. In this book, Cousin Howie is going to come for a visit. Have you ever had a cousin or a friend or a relative come and stay at your house and visit? Well, in this book, Cousin Howie is Walter's cousin, and he's coming to visit. But look really closely at Iris's face. Can you see that? Is Iris feeling happy about things? Doesn't look like she is. What do you think is the problem is going to be in this book? Yep. Well, let's read and see if you're right. Yeah, I'm wondering that myself. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move the camera so you can read along with me. So it might take me a moment to get it set up. All right, can you see that? So in this book, there's 4 chapters. Walter's Great News, Cousin Howie, Fishing Troubles, and A Little Magic. Chapter 1, Walter's Great News. One day, Iris and baby Rose were playing in the sunshine when Iris's best friend Walter came running up the path. "Iris, I have great news," he shouted. "My cousin Howie is coming to visit this weekend." "Howie, the one who knows magic tricks?" asked Iris. "That's the one," said Walter. "I can't wait for you to meet him." "Me too," said Iris. "Do you think Howie can teach me magic tricks?" "Why not?" said Walter. That night at supper, Iris told her family about Cousin Howie. "He's 9 years old and he's Walter's favorite cousin. Howie taught Walter how to fish, and he's going to teach me magic tricks." "I might be a magician when I grow up," said Iris. "A magician?" said her father. "Goodness me," said her mother. "How delightful," said Grandpa. Every day after school, Iris and Walter talked about Howie's visit. "We can show him our treehouse," said Walter. "We can take turns riding Rain," said Iris. Walter couldn't wait for his best friend and his favorite cousin to meet. "The 3 of us are going to have so much fun," said Walter. "How are were Iris and Walter feeling about Howie coming to visit? I'm hearing a lot of you say that they are feeling happy and that they are feeling excited. Why do they feel that way? Why are they happy and excited? Yeah, they're looking forward to doing fun things together. They want to fish and they want to do magic tricks together. And Walter is feeling especially excited because Iris is his best friend and Howie is Walter's favorite cousin. So he wants them to meet each other. All right, let's see what happens. Chapter 2, Cousin Howie. Saturday morning, Iris hopped on her bike and rode over to Walter's house. Walter and Howie were sitting in Walter's hammock. They were laughing and talking. Howie was sitting where Iris always sat. Iris, this is my cousin Howie, said Walter. Hello, said Iris. Hello, said Howie. Look at the fishing pole Howie gave me, said Walter. It used to be mine, said Howie. I caught a lot of fish with it. Iris picked up the fishing pole. You're holding it wrong, said Howie. Iris pretended she was fishing. Careful, don't break it, said Howie. I won't, said Iris. She handed the pole back to Walter. Isn't it great? Asked Walter. Iris didn't see what was so great about an old fishing pole, but Walter thought it was wonderful. Take a moment and look at the faces. Here we have Iris, here we have Walter, here's Howie, and then Iris and Walter and Howie again. Just notice their faces. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What do you notice about Howie? Do you think Iris likes him? I'm hearing a lot of you say no, you don't think Iris likes him. How come? Why does Iris not like him? Okay, keep that thought in your mind and let's keep reading. That night, Iris's father asked, So, how is the famous cousin Howie? He's kind of bossy, said Iris. He is? Asked her father. Yes, said Iris. I don't think he's very friendly. Maybe Howie is shy, said Iris's mother. Maybe he just needs a little time to warm up. But Iris was not so sure. So if you were thinking to yourself, Iris doesn't like Howie because Howie is bossy, yeah, Howie is a little bit bossy. Chapter 3, Fishing Troubles. The next morning, Iris put on her cape. Why, Iris, look at you, said her mother. You look just like a magician, said her father. I'm going to ask Howie to teach me some magic tricks, said Iris, and off she rode. Oh, Iris, honey, the boys aren't here, said Walter's mother. They went fishing. Oh, said Iris. Iris rode over to the pond. Walter and Howie were fishing from the big rock. It was very quiet. Hi, everybody, Iris shouted. Shh, said Howie. You'll scare away the fish. Catch anything yet? She asked. Not yet, said Walter. How long does it take to catch a fish? Asked Iris. It's hard to know, said Howie. Hey, Howie, Walter says you know magic tricks. Can you teach me some? Asked Iris. Do you say, abracadabra? She cried. Iris, we're never going to catch anything if you keep scaring the fish, said Howie. Does she have to do everything with us? He whispered to Walter. But Iris heard. Uh-oh. Howie said something rude about Iris. How is Iris feeling now? What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, we can get a lot of clues by looking at Iris's body, can't we? What do you think she's feeling just looking at her body? She's looking sad. Maybe her feelings are hurt. Maybe she's feeling embarrassed. And we can look at Howie's face and we can see that Howie is not being nice. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen now? What do you think Iris is going to do? Yeah, maybe. Let's read and find out. I just remembered I have to go home, said Iris. Iris rode home as fast as she could. Back so soon? Asked Iris's mother. Iris burst into tears. Chapter 4, A Little Magic. I hate that cousin Howie, Iris sobbed. When baby Rose saw her big sister crying, she started to cry too. Oh dear, it's a house full of tears, said Iris's mother. Iris, my love, tell me, what happened? Iris told her mother all about cousin Howie. Howie's mean, said Iris. I can see how he hurt your feelings, my Iris, said Iris's mother. It sounds like he wanted Walter all to himself. Walter's my best friend, Iris told her father. Of course he is, said Iris's father. And you're Walter's best friend. Cousin Howie isn't going to change that. I don't like Howie, Iris told Grandpa. Iris, my girl, you don't have to like him, said Grandpa. And I think fishing is boring, said Iris. So do I, whispered Grandpa. Grandpa gave Iris his handkerchief. It was clean and soft, and it smelled like Grandpa. I didn't even learn any magic tricks, Iris sniffed. But Iris, you don't need Howie to learn magic tricks, said Grandpa. We can go to the library. I'm sure we'll find a book about magic. Early the next morning, Iris woke up to the clop, clop, clop of horse hooves. She raced outside. Hello, Iris, said Walter. Hi, Walter, said Iris. I'm sorry Howie wasn't very friendly, and I'm sorry he didn't teach you any magic tricks, said Walter. But Walter, we can learn our own magic tricks, said Iris. Iris showed Walter her library book. Wow, said Walter. Do you want to put on a magic show? Sure, said Iris. We'll have to practice a lot, said Walter. Some of these tricks look really, really hard. But for magicians like Iris and Walter, anything was possible. So what was the problem in this book? Iris had a big problem, didn't she? What was the problem? Yeah, The problem was is that her and Howie both wanted different things. Howie wanted to spend time all alone with Walter, and Iris wanted to spend time with them and learn magic tricks. Turns out Howie wasn't very nice either. So how did Iris solve the problem? That's right, with the help of her grandpa, she went to the library and got a book on magic tricks. And they decided that they didn't need Howie to teach them magic tricks, that they could do it on their own. So Iris and Walter practiced the magic tricks and put on a show all by themselves. So you notice when you're reading your fiction books that often there is a problem in the story. And there is usually a character, in this story it was Iris, who has a problem. And somehow that problem needs to get solved. So you can notice when you're reading fiction books, what is the problem in this story and how is the character responding to that challenge? What is the character going to do to solve that problem? Okay, thanks so much for reading that book with me. That was fun. And I want to remind you that during the week, you are responsible for reading. How many minutes a day? 10? 8? 5,492? No, you're supposed to read 30 minutes at least. If you read more, is that awesome? That's awesome. So you need to read 30 minutes, or maybe you're going to read more than 30 minutes. Maybe you're going to read 40 minutes. Maybe you're going to read 45 minutes. Maybe you even will read a whole hour. You don't have to do it all at once. You can do a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon if you wanted to. And what you are doing is you're keeping a reading log. Thanks to all of you who sent me your reading log last week. If you didn't send a reading log to me last week, think to yourself right now, this week I am going to read every day, and I'm going to send a reading log to Miss Dietz so I can show her all the books I've been reading. The way you make a reading log is you write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday down the side of the paper. And then you write what books you read on Monday and how long it took you to read those books. And then you write the books you read on Tuesday and how long, Wednesday and how many minutes, Thursday, how many minutes, Friday, how many minutes. And then when you're all done, you ask your parent if they could take a picture, snap a picture with a smartphone, and text it or email it to me. And in that way, I can see all the books that you're reading. So read for 30 minutes or more every day. And we will have another reading lesson next week on YouTube. But in the meantime, don't forget about your reading small group. And I will send a text and remind you what day that's going to happen. Okay, take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.